Welcome to ConstructTech TV. Will a green building rise into the sky, or will smart concrete make its way into your next project? Let's take a look at the top tech trends for the week. Today I'm going to discuss sustainable skyscrapers, autonomous driving on the job site, smarter construction materials, elevators and emergency evacuations, and apprentice programs. Skyscraper construction has remained relatively unchanged. That is, until now. To understand the market, let's first look to the past. This will help you better understand where we are headed. The number of buildings that exceed 656 feet have tripled since the year 2000. At the same time, environmental impact is going up and up and up. For every ton of steel produced, 2 tons of carbon dioxide are emitted. This equates to 3 billion tons of carbon dioxide each year. To solve this, we now see wood more often replacing steel. Wood is able to store carbon dioxide. This is in the case being proposed in a skyscraper in Paris. This particular building will be able to store about 3,700 tons of carbon dioxide. This is the equivalent of taking 2,207 vehicles off the road for an entire year. We are also seeing many hybrid systems emerging. This combines both timber and concrete beams. This type of system can reduce the carbon footprint by as high as 75% compared to all concrete structures. Can you build a sustainable skyscraper? I think you can, and it all starts with the materials you choose on your projects. When will autonomous equipment drive onto your job site? The answer is sooner than you think. The Colorado Department of Transportation is just one of the latest examples. It has unveiled a work zone vehicle that can drive itself. To date, there has been 26 incidences, yes, 26, where an impact protection vehicle was struck in the past 4 years. Even more, the state reported almost 22,000 crashes and 171 fatalities in work zones between 2000 and 2014. That's just way too many. The self-driving vehicle is designed to solve this challenge by taking the driver out of the truck. Technology mimics the position, speed, and direction of a lead vehicle that transmits a signal. This ensures the autonomous truck is always correctly positioned. The state DOT has also conducted extensive testing on the emergency stopping and obstacle detection systems. Testing also confirmed the vehicle's ability to stay in the lane and make turns. With all this research underway, autonomous trucks will be driving onto your construction job site. Way to go, Colorado DOT. Could concrete get stronger and smarter? Research is being done at the University of Calgary that could be a game changer. This is looking at the use of fiber-reinforced polymers in concrete structures. The research includes the development of a corrosion-free bridge, temperature effects on the concrete, optimum design of the precast bridge systems, and so much more. What's so exciting here is that this could ensure stronger structures in the future. But this is only one example. A real-world instance comes out of Genoa, Italy. Crystalline technology was used in an urban tunnel project. The result is durable and waterproof concrete that will last for decades. It is resistant to environmental influences, and it also has self-healing capabilities. Construction materials are getting smarter, and remarkably, so is the infrastructure. Now let me paint a picture for you. You are on the 40th floor of a building. You hear the fire alarms. Where do you go? As construction professionals, you know the first response is not the elevator. But that is all changing. ThyssenKrupp Elevator has designed a new system that can operate during emergencies. and it can actually help evacuate occupants. Talk about smart, right? The elevators are built with safeguards that can protect against water, heat, and even smoke, and they can run on backup power. The elevators have quite a bit of intelligence in them, and they can prioritize evacuation by specific zones. Floors that are the farthest from the discharge level have priority. The elevator cars can even talk with passengers. It will tell them how to proceed. It will also communicate elevator status with those in the hallways. This is already in use at 181 Fremont in San Francisco. 14 of the 17 elevators have this capability. Now that's talking smarter safety. We all know our construction industry is facing a decline in our trades. The Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that the number of workers who choose union representation has declined by 19%. This means apprenticeship training programs have become increasingly limited. At the same time, federal funding for career and technical education has declined by a whopping 29% in the past 8 years. However, reformation of the Perkins Act could help change all of this. The AGC is urging the Senate to take action. With the right funding, it could help increase career and technical education programs. This means more schools would have construction-focused programs. The good news here is that we are seeing a greater interest in apprenticeship programs. Take the city of Utica, New York. It is requiring all contractors to show proof of an approved apprenticeship program. We need to prepare for the onslaught of projects in the pipeline. We need both the technology and the industry to come together to help solve this challenge. Are you prepared to help? That's your tech update for today. During my time at Interdrone, I heard a lot about the ways drones are being used alongside of artificial intelligence, BIM, and so much more to capture data at the job site. However, I wanted to see if they are keeping an eye on workers as well. So I had the time and opportunity to speak with Chris Carodi, principal for DroneBusiness.Center, and Colin Snow, CEO of SkyLogic Research, to discuss how drones are actually contributing to better safety practices on the job. Let's take a look at what they both had to say. We've been seeing drones all here at Interdrone all week long, and everybody's talking about the importance of drones. But I guess the real question I want to understand is, are we really benefiting from using drones at a construction job site? What do you think?
Yes, and there are, and sort of one of the biggest benefits is the safety issue. The drones are a great safety inspection tool. So I'll give you some examples. So some examples would be taking a scan and creating a map of your area and understanding where there's hazardous areas. So when you're planning the job site work for the day or for the week, understanding where those hazardous areas are, because of weather that may have changed the landscape. There may be, you don't want slips and falls, and you don't want to get ocean. Certainly don't want, claims made against you. So anything that the firm can do to understand where those hazards are. That's sort of one use case. One of the other ones is understanding egress. So when you're planning a construction site, understanding where the trucks come in and come out, and you may change that over time. So drones can help that to make sure that that's safely done.
We're seeing a lot of discussion on this. What would you say is happening in your side of the woods that you've been hearing a lot about?
Well, I mean, the most basic thing with inspection, and it's not just in construction, is getting people off of ladders, off of roofs, out of helicopters, and just literally ensuring the physical safety of the people who are doing inspection or minimizing the risks to them. The ability to look over the hill or to see ahead is a big deal. It's a little off topic, but it's a funny story. They were talking about a sheriff's department out in the San Bernardino desert, popping over a rise and coming on a meth camp filled with pit bulls and German shepherds and everything else. When they had to leave, they were happy to get out of there alive. The thought is a drone can look ahead. You can send something ahead to see. Are there wasps' nests? Are there floods? Are there electrical shorts? I think we're going to learn a lot about that in Houston right now, what can be done with it. So, it's another pair of eyes that involves very low risk.
We've been hearing now that drones are actually being used in Houston now with Harvey and things like that. Are we going to see a lot more of that, not only on when we have hurricanes or other natural disasters, but the idea of rebuilding a lot of things? So what are your thoughts about drones and the idea of being able to rebuild and the future of what will be for construction?
Sure, that's a big part. And so in planning for reconstruction, scanning the surfaces, normally that's done from a laser scanner, and then they'll plan the building or plan the facade. But a drone can actually go up and circle a building, can actually get a 3D image of that building, and that composite image then can help the planners understand what's changed over time. So in the life cycle of a building, and the planning and the construction and the maintenance and then the deconstruction, in that maintenance or construction phase where I'm doing one or the other or both, the drone provides a safe way for you to go to heights and get an accurate photo scan of what needs to be done or the current state, right? And then in the planning part of it, they can also look at the differences between plan versus actual, right? So there's another safety component in it in regards to, was the build done to the spec that was required, right? And is there a safety risk in the way it was built versus the way it was planned?
And we look at that right now as we think about safety, because we have a lot of accidents on the job site, almost too many. So are we looking at drones right now as saying, as we rebuild some of the things from what's happened and we look to the future, are we hoping that drones will reduce the number of accidents on job sites? Do you think that'll happen, Chris?
Well, I don't know. That's so much is situational. I think that the challenge that Colin and I speak about a lot is, what do you do with all the information? How do you integrate it? One thing we haven't touched on, for instance, is you can put your drone up, survey the area you're working on, and correlate that back to the GIS data that's already available from the county for your permitting and doing things like that. So it's learning how to use all this information. Then BIM is the famous example in construction, right? It's learning how to use that and integrate that into your workflow, which becomes, what can I do better? And at some point, the safety culture takes over and says, okay, well, if we have to do this, then maybe we shouldn't do that at the same time. So I think it's very situational. I would hate to categorize it, but you'd like to think that, people who can see more, know more about their environment should be able to do a better job of operating in it.
It's nice to know those eyes in the sky have our back. That's Safety Zone from InterDrone 2017. This is the final installment in a 3-part series about the new Stanford Hospital. On the first installment, Bert Hurlbut, Vice President of New Hospital Construction, gave me an overview of the project. Then Chad Reeder, Controls Manager, took us all on a tour. On this segment, we'll take a closer look at the technology being used on the job site. First, let's see what Chad had to say about the use of BIM and other technology on this amazing project. So Chad, let's talk a little bit about how BIM has been used on this project throughout.
So we started this project 3 years before construction started with some pre-con. And we started with the BIM model in pre-construction. Our goal was to get as much of the construction designed virtually before we started construction, so therefore we could eliminate as many problems as possible. Hopefully 80% of the problems. So when you come in the field and you have issues in the field like here, and you look up and you look around here, that you can get the issues resolved in the office as opposed to out in the field, where it costs a lot more money and takes a lot more time to fix it.
So you look at it as BIM being really essential into a massive project like this.
Absolutely, absolutely. It'd be much more challenging to try to do this without BIM, absolutely.
So is technology critical to being successful, advanced technology on projects like this?
Absolutely. Again, we are in a trailer where we were is a 30,000 square feet trailer that's a quarter mile away from the construction site. So any changes that happen in the trailer, if you had to get some new drawings over here or the data over here, with somebody walking back and forth all day, you're going to lose a lot of time, a lot of productivity. Is we can get the data over here real time through our wireless network here and through the cellular networks. We can get our drawings updated almost real time.
As we all know, there are many trades and partners and subs that are required to leverage all the data. While I was on this job site, I had the opportunity to see firsthand how Caparelli KHS&S Contractors is using the technology.
Ed doesn't have time to keep walking into the trailer every hour to get the new update, whatever. They can push it to we're using PlanGrid on this project and Bluebeam as well, to get the design out here to Ed as fast as possible, so we can try to keep that design ahead of construction. One of our constraints is the fact that we are under the jurisdiction of the state. And the state requires that all changes that are quote-unquote material are blessed by the state field staff, and they're only here once a week or maybe twice a week. We can't always get the drawing out immediately, but we can get out here as fast as we can after one of those meetings. And so again, Caparelli's done a really good job of keeping that data flow here, not making people walk back and forth. We have 600 workers here going out, coming back, going out and coming back. We lost some productivity to do that. Where we can at least now force you got a landing page there using, you guys use Bluebeam for your landing page.
Yes, sir.
And so they have their submittals here, their RFIs that get answered here as well. So they've kind of done it themselves. So one of these places where as an owner where we can grow and get more efficient is to have this as a project-wide, right? Have a project-wide landing page for all the RFIs, all the submittals, and try to get that into one central dashboard for us.
Great, so let's take a look at that.
So yeah, what we got here is this is like our landing pages. So we got a button that we can push for RFIs or open up all the RFIs we have. If we need to know what wall types, we can do that. If we need to check door and window schedules for sizes or swings, we can do that. We have an exterior for our exterior. And then we can go to, if I got good reception here, let's say I need to look something on the 3rd floor. I can pull that up. But I could, when we pull up our landing pages, I can go to layout drawings as well. Figure out layout. If I need to figure out a layout, I always have this with me, so I'm not going back to a table somewhere in the middle of the job. I can almost grab everything I need right here.
So it makes it pretty easy for you to see whatever you need when you need it.
Absolutely.
And so imagine if you had
Really
paper,
convenient.
Right? 10 years ago, everybody had paper. So now you're trying to get these papers every day, every morning.
Cabinets everywhere.
Everywhere, exactly. And what's the latest one? He doesn't know. So now he knows, and it's instant to his whole team. It's not that cabinet has the latest one and this one doesn't or whatever. Everybody gets it.
So everybody has the changes immediately and can look at them at the same time.
Correct. So when he's on PlanGrid, that is every sub on this project uses a PlanGrid. So for the way they're doing the RFIs, that's Caparelli's doing that. But for like our PlanGrid, as soon as CMC updates the PlanGrid drawings, that immediately gets distributed to anybody who has an iPad out here or a BIM workstation. So.
Finally, as all of you know, no job is complete without a GC. So of course, I had a chance to delve into the use of technology on the project with Greg Schoonover of Clark McCarthy. Let's take a look at what he had to say. So Greg, it was really great. We toured the new hospital that's going to be built, and you guys with Clark McCarthy have done a lot of involvement in the technology. Can you tell me a little bit about the technology, BIM, and the things that have been involved?
Certainly on the BIM side, we've been involved since pre-construction, been co-located with the design team and Stanford up in San Francisco and Palo Alto. That was during the pre-con effort, and then just rolled that out into construction. Here in the co-location with the entire team, so we have all the decision makers here in one area, so that certainly helps when we run into clashes and issues in the model. And then we're also using ProjectWise, which is the platform that we share models, and that's real time, and we share with all the major subcontractors and ourselves. So when we're working in the model, you can see what other individuals are doing. So it's always a real time content. So there's no updating it, and then a week goes by and the model ends up being stale, or I guess other changes have been made. So we're utilizing that on the BIM front and then on the modeling side. So
How important is technology on a project of this caliber and magnitude, I should say?
It's extremely important. I mean, we're using it in all aspects. I mean, on the document control, we have no paper plans on the job. It's all done through Plan Grid. So when I think we saw an example out one of the subcontractors out there from Caparelli KHS&S had his tablet or his iPad. He's got direct access to the most current documents. So when we get issued documents from Stanford, we upload those in the in the Plan Grid. So those are kept consistent, and then also our trade managers update daily all the RFIs that we get on the job. So those are the most current documents that everybody's got access to.
When we look at technology now on projects like this, it becomes challenging. You have to integrate a lot of different subs and partners involved in this. When you look at other projects that you've had to work on, how complicated, and looking at some of the hurdles, have you had to overcome in change orders and RFIs and thinking about all the other things? How many things have you looked at this and said, it wasn't easy, we've had to work together and use technology to make it come together?
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts. I mean, the information flow is key, especially to the 600 plus tradesmen that we have out on the project. So again, the importance of having access, having the connectivity out on the site to Plan Grid, that's important. Also, we do daily huddles with our teams to make sure that we're heading down a consistent path, making sure the design team is on that same page with us. So it's constant communication, not only here in the co-location, verbally, but also certainly electronically with everything we got going on with the documents and stuff that we utilize. The other thing too that's been actually, we've had a lot of great successes on the job, but certainly one of the more positive one is right now we're using Project Inertia for our inspection process. So we've worked extremely well with the IOR team and our quality team, and we've got a 99% first-time pass rate on a job of this size is extremely hard to do, and it's been a great effort on our team's parts.
And looking at inspections like that, that's almost practically impossible when you think of a project like this to get 99%.
Certainly. I mean, I think Bert mentioned in the pre-walk, I think we're up to over 50,000 inspections on the job, so that's a pretty good feather in our cap to do that.
And right now you're near the finish line.
Yeah, we're getting close. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel, so we're looking forward to getting done and wrapping up strong for Stanford.
I would like to thank Bert, Chad, Greg, and everyone at the new Stanford Hospital for giving me and the entire ConstructTech team the opportunity to tour the project. Thanks for watching our 3-part series on the building of the new Stanford Hospital. This is certainly more than someone you should know, but what you should know.
This episode of ConstructTech TV is brought to you by Jamf Now.
The number of smartphones and tablets are increasing exponentially at the construction job site. This means construction companies need to put policies in place for how to leverage all these devices. The good news is new innovation is available. Mobile device management, otherwise known as MDM, is expected to grow by almost 26% between 2016 and 2021. Here to chat with me today is Garrett Denney, Product Marketing Manager of Jamf Now of Jamf. Garrett, we're excited to have you on the show today. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Peggy. We're excited to be here.
So tell us a little bit about Jamf and the Jamf Now product.
Yeah, sure thing. So the basics of Jamf Now is that it is a software solution that enables organizations to deploy and manage and ultimately secure Apple products in the workplace. So you can imagine a scenario where a new construction company comes on board, they want to offer employee choice, or they already have a whole bunch of Apple products, and it's just a matter of time before they really need to take security seriously and find an efficient way to manage those devices. That's really what Jamf Now does.
So why did you decide to create this product now in this crazy time in the marketplace?
Yeah, it's a great question. So Jamf as a company has been around for over a decade. It's kind of an established market leader in our space. The space we play in is called MDM, Mobile Device Management, and Jamf Now is the newer of our two products. So we've served enterprise-level companies, some of the biggest companies in the world for a long time, and it's really time for us to focus on that small and medium business market. That's what Jamf Now does. So you can imagine construction companies, architecture companies, field service companies, where they've got a number of Apple products out there, and what happens is they need to buy a new iPad. Somebody has to go to the Apple Store, or they go to apple.com. That thing shows up on your door, and you spend half your day powering it up, getting your apps on there. If you use things like Concur or Expensify to track expense reports, you're doing all that manually, and it becomes a really time-intensive process. So what Jamf Now does is it automates a whole lot of that work, and ultimately get back to working on the site, on the job site, stop worrying about IT. That's what Jamf Now does.
Talk about the construction industry right now, because that seems to be an industry right now that's truly embracing Apple products, the iPad, the iPhone, and it seems like it's a really interesting time to target that vertical market.
Yeah, I think it is. It's a very exciting time, I would say. And, you know, I think we all think back about a decade, and you remember the first kind of penetration of technology into the construction industry. You had push-to-talk cell phones that really made a splash, right? Well, it's certainly grown since then, and it's not just kind of rugged devices anymore. It's Apple iPhones. It's Mac computers in the back office. It's iPads when you want to pull up schematics on the job site. So really in response to that, Jamf Now comes alongside of companies, acts as a partner for what they're already doing and already deploying, and enables that next level of IT management. So really what it does is it makes your life easier as a construction firm. We want you to spend less time worrying about managing those devices. When you need to upgrade, make it easier on yourself. Don't spend half your day trying to upgrade a single iPad or a single device. What we can do is enroll those devices from the factory, and all you have to do is open that box, give it to your employee, and it's already ready to be managed. You can track location, securely wipe that device remotely, a whole bunch of features that make your life easier.
You know, you talked about push to talk. I mean, most people who are listening, probably in these younger millennials, have no idea what we're talking about when you say push to talk, because that's really where the construction industry really helped the cell phone grow. Push to talk was so exciting when we saw Sprint bring that to market, and then all the other industries and cell phone companies took that off. Now when we look at this and we talk about that, mobile device management is really important, because when you talk about people using these so much, they live with their devices at job sites to be able to do things remotely, and that's how a construction company really works today.
Yeah, it's so true. You know, it's one industry of many where it is a bad thing if your employees are spending their full day in the office, right? What you really want to do is enable business by being out at the site, being with your customer, being face to face. And we find a lot that really enabling business in a space comes down to enabling people to have more of that face time. You want to be out there in front of your customers at the site doing business right there, not back in the office worrying about technology. So, you know, as I said, we've been doing this for over a decade, and it goes really well with enterprise business where you've got these massive deployments. It's the same thing on a smaller scale. Enable your company to be out there, to be face-to-face with the customer and get business done. Stop worrying about IT. That's really the bottom line for Jamf Now.
Do you have software tools as well that helps them as you're managing these devices and give them the security and the information that makes construction companies feel safe and secure when they're talking about managing, you know, these devices?
Yeah, definitely, Peggy. So one of the nicest things about Jamf Now is it's a cloud-based platform. So you've got one portal to go to and look at all of the devices that your company is deploying. So you can imagine a scenario where everybody's got an iPhone. Maybe some people have iPads or Macs. It's all through one single portal. You don't need to jump around to different vendors. It's right there, one-stop shop in front of you. So ultimately, end of the day, this is a quality of life improvement for a lot of people in construction, because you no longer need to go and keep track on an Excel spreadsheet or with a couple of different companies who's got what version they're on, if it's secure. And probably the scariest question is, what happens if somebody loses one? They misplace it on the job site. How do you either track it down or wipe that and protect all that sensitive company information? So the nice thing is it lets people get back to doing what they do best and not spend their entire day working on IT. You know, if you wanted to work in IT, you go work for an IT company and spend your whole day doing that. But Jamf Now, it's a one-stop shop portal, really easy to use, a very intuitive user interface. I think a lot of people will get a kick out of that.
Are we talking about this being affordable for small to medium-sized companies? I know that's your target, but a lot of companies get concerned that they can't afford something like this. Is this something that you're saying is really affordable?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. Ultimately, if you're an IT person working in the construction space, this is a give and take relationship, right? And what you want to do is weigh the pros and cons. Do the pros of adopting a piece of software in the MDM space outweigh the cons of losing a device, getting hacked, of not managing your employee devices, right? So we've been there. A lot of people that work for Jamf came from other industries. We know what that's like, come budget time. And I would say yes. So we really tweaked this software to target small and medium business, and it's very affordable for you to deploy. Your first 3 devices, dip a toe in the water, are free forever. We've never charged for first 3 device enrollment, so go on, check out jamfnow.com and just take a peek, enroll a couple of devices at your office, and check out the software. Beyond that, it's $2 per device per month, so it's super affordable. You're not talking thousands of dollars in setup fees, thousands of dollars in annual fees. It's really cheap. So you see a lot of these construction companies that play in that small and medium space, very affordable to do.
Well, Garrett Denney, it's been great. You're the product manager of Jamf, and we appreciate you being with us and sharing all this information with us for innovation and technology. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much, Peggy.
We appreciate it. All right, well, that's our innovation and technology for today.
Jamf Now helps businesses manage Apple devices in the workplace. Jamf Now makes managing and securing every work iPhone, iPad, and Mac easier than ever. See the power of Jamf Now for yourself. Create an account today at jamf.com/constructtech. Start managing your first 3 devices for free. That's jamf.com/constructtech.
Welcome to Got a Tool. Today I'm aiming for new heights. Ladders and heights are always a bit tricky. However, a new ladder is a little bit safer than your traditional ladder, and we're talking about Lean Safe Ladder from Werner. Constructed with 7 layers of fiberglass, safe to use when working with electricity, it has rubber pads, a magnet for holding a metal bit and tools, cutaway pattern to lean securely. It's OSHA and ANSI compliant, between 4 and 12 feet in height, secure rail latch locks, ladder in place, 300-pound load capacity, cost ranges from $115 to $330, and it's available online and in stores. WernerCo.com, Lean Safe. Now that's your Got a Tool for today. Today's word of the day is reality capture. On the last episode of Construct Tech TV, I defined virtual reality and augmented reality. Today, I would like to explore the idea of reality capture. This phrase is beginning to come up more often in the construction industry. It simply refers to creating a digital model from the real world, and it leverages various means to capture the data. Think mobile apps and digital cameras. We see tech companies coming to market with new solutions designed to capture this data in various ways. Bentley Systems even acquired Acute 3D back in 2015 specifically with a focus on reality capture and modeling. This is certainly only one example. Other companies are also exploring reality capture for construction. With technology such as this, workers can produce models of existing conditions using photos taken. Software then creates a reality mesh incorporating these images. The end result is a 3D model. The benefits include a greater understanding of the reality of a project, better management of the cost and risk, enhanced productivity, improved performance of assets, and even greater BIM coordination. In the future, there is no question we will see even more application. As I see it, this is a significant opportunity to capture data from a number of different devices on a job. Drones, for instance, provide a unique way to gather data and integrate it with the model. The possibilities are truly endless. Reality capture? That's your word of the day. And thanks for watching Construct Tech TV, where we are talking tech at the job site.